we are looking in the summer of 1776 with a rising imperial power, Great Britain, making all the mistakes that we will ourselves make later on.
Yep.
This op-ed editor at the LA Times, her name is Susan, and she wanted me to do a piece on what would Washington say about Iraq.
Where is that?
And that's what he would have said. That's what he would have said. I don't even know where Iraq is. It doesn't exist. It doesn't get created until like 1921, I think. And I don't know what weapons of mass destruction are. I don't know what the Taliban is. I don't know any of that stuff. And so Susan says, "That's all fine, Joe, but just write the piece, okay?" So I wrote this piece in which I basically said, if you show Washington Iraq, he would say, "I'm totally confounded because we have become the British." And that would be impossible for him to understand. And it made me think, well, if you ask most Americans whether we are an imperial power, an empire, 95% of them will say no. If you ask everybody else in the world, 99% of them will say yes. So we are really an empire in denial. Why are we in denial? Because we know in our hearts that it's running against the core of our historical experience. That is, we began as the first anti-imperial power in the modern era, winning a successful war for colonial independence. Our deepest roots are anti-imperial, and it takes isolationist forms in other venues, but that one of the reasons we don't do this very well is because I don't really believe it. Again, that's the way in which my own thinking about the 18th century has, pretty much like yours, been shaped by what's happening in the 20th and 21st century.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.